Paul, well, we've seen a Jekyll and Hyde performance today at Gloucester. Everything we did at York City seemed to be completely opposite today, and must be very disappointing for you to see that sort of performance.
Disappointing? No. It's I think you've just summed it up. Jekyll and Hyde, and give people enough chances. I've called for consistency too many times now. So, look, let's see what happens over the next week, because once again, I can't take a Jekyll and Hyde side. When we follow instructions, when we do what we're good at, we're not bad. But too many times this season, we haven't followed what they've been asked to do. It's simple as that. And like I say, you look at the first two goals. Realistically, we could have been 2-0 up if we'd have been at the races today. Too many players had off days, and that's just a state of mind. I know people. I bore people now with the mentality. Good sides. The consistent sides that get promoted. They come here and they grind a result out. We just look as though we wanted to entertain today, and to be fair, I'm not buying that. We come to try and win football matches. We come to work harder than the opposition. We come to try and impose our DNA on teams. And look, there's an inconsistency there. So it's my job to sort that out.
We spoke in midweek about Ole Hulbert, the man to watch, and he punished Kettering with 2 goals on breakaways. The only 2 shots they had on target in the first half.
Yeah, that was against the wind. And what I can say about the 2 goals is they broke from our set pieces, and the 2 boys that down the that did the damage ran past a number of our players. I can take bad days at the office in terms of not playing well. I can take bad days at the office in terms of tactically getting it wrong. That's going to happen. They worked harder than us today. I'm not having that. I'm just not having that, Paul. So, 1 or 2 might be sulking. 1 or 2 might be, might not want to follow instructions. Like I say, those people get left behind. And like I say, we'll concentrate on the group that want to be successful. Want to follow, what they've been told, and more importantly, they understand that sometimes you can have a bad day at the office with the ball and without the ball. Doesn't stop me from working on. I don't think we worked as hard as we should have done today, and that's what's left a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. I'm probably the most annoyed since I've been at this football club, and that'll tell you where I'm at the minute. So, let things, let the dust settle over the next 24 hours. But in my mind now, there's a certain clarity that I need to do certain things. Yeah.
You mentioned to me, I think in midweek, that you're thinking of bringing some players in and some will be going. Is this enough evidence now that that's going to happen?
I think even before today that needed to happen. There's an inconsistency about our game. When we're good, we're not bad. We're not bad. It's trying to get that consistency into this team for a Saturday, Tuesday. To be a top professional footballer, you have to eat, drink, breathe this sport, and the ones that don't, without being disrespectful, will drop down to steps 4 and 5, and because that's where you can have a 9 out of 10 game, one game, and still everyone thinks you're a superstar. What I'm looking here is to build a good team. We've come a million miles from the 18 months or 2 years we've been here, but that's still not good enough. I want hungry players. I want players that are dying to want to go and play in the Football League, that want to be the best. We've got a nice little nucleus, but now's the time, I think, to have a look at what we've got, just bring 1 or 2 additions in. It means 1 or 2 might have to go. But what I'm looking for now, Paul, is I want players to understand that consistency is all they need to do. They haven't got to be 9 out of 10 one game, 4 out of 10 the next. All they've got to be 6.5 out of 10 every game, 7 out of 10. Stick to what we're good at, and have an understanding that wins football matches. We showed that last week. We showed it a number of times this season. That just leaves a bitter taste in my mouth today that the basics, and I mean basics of running, heading, tackling for the first time today, I've sort of players like dangling feet in tackles. You know, these have come off a, I think they drew one game in the last 5. There was a hunger in them that I didn't see in us today. And if there's that lack of hunger, that's when I have to look at things.
I think the disappointing thing for me today was when they went down to 10 men, you could not tell the difference. In fact, when they went down to 10 men, they looked like they had 12 on the pitch compared to our 11. Our 11.
Once again, Paul, it's down to mentality. It's once again, people say we'll get bored with it. If you've got 11 men, sometimes you've got to be brave enough to move that ball about, make the opposition work, and to gamble. We had enough chances, that ball going in that box, we had one that went in that all someone had to do was head it towards goal, and we've for some reason tried to bring it down. And these are just basics. These are basics that, next week, we might go and thump somebody 3-0 by doing that. But I'm not having the lack of consistency. It's really, really simplistic game, football, and the amount of times the ball's landed in their box and the second phase has been unopposed, for me, really embarrassing. We talked about the game. There's only one game before this that we've not scored a goal, and that was Chester. And I thought it was a pretty good game. Today we looked, we looked as though we couldn't buy a goal, and it's not just to do with the forwards. It's to do with us as a whole and having that mindset. We needed to move the ball around second half. Move it with a bit of a tempo. But for some reason we look dead. We look dead. And whether that's some still reminiscing over the York result, if it is, then we have got problems. But I keep saying consistency is the key. And at the minute, I'm flipping a coin to see which Kettering Town side's going to turn up, and I don't want to do that. We're getting into a nice position in the league. Now, this is a big trophy for us and our supporters. I think we've let ourselves down today, and it's just our approach. We played against the wind first half. The 2 goals that we conceded were from our set plays, and the people that created them ran past a number of our players to get there. Now that's design application. I'm not accepting that, Paul. I'm not accepting that. And like I say, players who know in there, they know. I'm going to show them, because sometimes you do have to show players that's just work ethic. Some people can say, look, you've had a bad day at the office, let it go. I'm not. 1 minute we're 9 out of 10, next minute we're 4 out of 10. And like I say, I need some more consistency. I need players that are consistent in terms of what we do. Then we'll become a really good, consistent side at what we do. I'm not bothered what people say about us. When we're on it, we're good, and when we're consistent, players have got to understand that, and they've got to live, breathe, drink, eat this game. The ones that don't will just fall by the wayside.
Finally, Paul, not a lot of time to think about it. We're up against Hereford on Tuesday night. I hate using the word bounce back ability, but it is a case of just doing so, isn't it, and getting back to where we were against York City.
Well, it's another game. It's another game. I'd like to say we can't be as bad as we were today, because we were poor today. But let's see what happens between now and then. I'm going to be working all the weekend now, and because look, that's not good today. For me, that's not good. And I know players might go, well, we need to bounce back. There's too many times since I've been at this, this season where we've gone, we need to bounce back from that. We know what we're good at. We know how, what we're doing. We've got some good players. It's just the state of mind we've got to be consistent with. And like I say, today, it's left a bit of a bitter taste in the mouth. They're going to be on the bus in 20 minutes, and we're going to go home. And I'll pick a side to try and win a game on Tuesday. But you never know, we might see a few fresh faces in.
Okay, Paul, thank you, and see you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday, Tom.